Hi, John Dwyer here, and I'm here with my colleague and good friend, John Formica. How are you, John?
I am fantastic.
Are you ready to rock and roll about websites?
Let's tell them the importance of websites.
Absolutely, and it's not just the importance. Of course, they are super duper important because your website is your director of first impressions. It used to be little Susie who would answer the phone, "Hello, ABC, a pharmacy or accountancy or whatever." She's relegated to number 2 now. We all know the very first thing we do when we're thinking about buying a product or service, we go to their website. Okay, so I think it's an important part of your membership of our program to go through a direct response website versus a website. And I'm being very sarcastic here, but I do say to people, business owners, when they come into our environment, I know that if you've got a sore tooth, you go to a dentist. And I know that if your car is not performing as well, you go to a car servicing or a car mechanic. And one would think that if you needed a website, you should go to a website designer, but no, don't go anywhere near that bearded hipster. He is evil, okay? The bearded hipster is more likely either a nerd, and so therefore he just got into a nerdy sort of, computer environment and then morphed into a little bit of creativity. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to go near him or her. Or that website designer was a graphic artist who's now decided that it's much better and more profitable to be a website designer because you can wear a black t-shirt, Doc Martens, and be very cool and grow a beard and be a hipster. And so therefore, what I thought I would do after basically insulting any website designer who's watching, please take it in jest, all right? I'm just trying to get a point across. You warned me about criticising people, didn't you?
That's right.
Well, I ignored that. All right? And so therefore, the thing is that you want a website design that's going to be direct response, one that actually captures the imagination and the attention of the audience and then converts. And you also want a website, of course, that is not a billboard in the desert, because no matter whether your website's good or bad or indifferent, you need traffic to it. And other aspects of our program, if Disney ran your business, we talk about driving traffic to websites and to web pages and things like that. But on this particular occasion, I won't concentrate so much on your website being, a billboard in the desert, but rather what I will do is give you what I believe are the absolute important components of a website. And John, because you know that I'm a know-all in this particular area, you're going to let me just, aren't you?
Yeah, he's the expert. He helped my website. He's helped hundreds of people's websites, so he knows what he's talking about.
Gazillions of people.
Gazillions of people. That's right.
Yeah.
I can't count that high.
I do hundreds just in a day. I mean, gazillions. We're talking about gazillions.
But he's got a system, and just listen to what he's got to say, because you're going to pick up something. You better have a paper and.
If he says any more nice things about me, I'll have to check his temperature, by the way. But also, it'll probably cost me a lot of scotch later on. Okay, so therefore, let me just go through the. First of all, your website needs to be direct response driven, and you need to give most of your attention to, guess what? The homepage. So if I asked you what was the most important page of a magazine in a drugstore, you will tell me it's the front cover, because as you're going through all the magazines, well, it's the front cover that's going to capture your attention. So it's a make or break. Now, the make or break of your website is understandably the front cover, which we all call the homepage. So once you acknowledge that, then you need a whole bunch of components on that homepage that are going to attract attention and sell. Now, the most important area of your homepage still is above the fold. So if you look at your desktop, you'll see that the bottom of the computer screen is known as your fold. It's not as important as it used to be, I must confess, because 70 to 80% of websites now are looked at on a smartphone or tablet. But nonetheless, for those that are still looking on a desktop, the good stuff should be above the bottom of the screen, what we call the fold. And the reason is because if you bore them above the fold with boring stuff, they won't scroll to the good stuff. So put the good stuff above the fold and then bore them. No, do not bore them. And then put equally almost as good stuff underneath it. You want to caption, like if you were walking past a drugstore today, and let's just say newspapers were still what they used to be, and there was a banner outside the drugstore that said, buy your newspaper, Elvis Presley, for Elvis found. Elvis, you would go in and you would buy that newspaper, okay? Or if it was on, a website and it said Elvis found, I bet you would click that. So what I'm demonstrating to you, the headline is the big deal, okay? How to lose 14 pounds in 2 weeks, So therefore, what you need at the very top of the page is a benefit-driven headline or a problem-solution headline. Now, the benefit-driven headline may be, again, you will lose X number of, how would you like to know how to lose X number of pounds in weight over a period of time. That would be a benefit headline. Or a problem solution headline would be, are you embarrassed every time you smile because you've got crooked teeth? Well, guess what? We have a solution at our dentistry practice that can give you a complete glamorous smile within 2 weeks, whatever it might be. So think of either a problem solution headline or a benefit driven headline. Now let me take through the other things that you need on your website. After that, what you might like to consider is having what we call an explanatory video. And that can be either a series of slides with a voiceover, which you can get done very, very inexpensively. We know where to go and get those things done. And if you don't feel comfortable in front of the camera, you might just want to use slides or imagery with a voiceover. And what you might like to do too is position yourself or your business as the expert at that point of time. People love dealing with experts. The reason that John and myself make a dollar is because we believe that we have a certain expertise when it comes to marketing, customer experiences, getting people to come back and back and back to businesses. So business owners pay us, a reasonable sum of money to be able to, suck up all of that information and advice. What you might like to do then is collect data. And when I say collect data, I mean have an offer. And the offer, we call it a data capture facility and a panel. Now keep in mind, with websites these days, the design of them is very, very simple. It's panel after panel after panel after panel. That's it. Keep it nice and modern and contemporary, panel after panel. Now, in terms of the free report, it may be if you were a kitchen renovator, you might appreciate that most people coming onto your website are interested in renovating their kitchen. You're a kitchen renovator. So let's make the assumption that 9 out of 10 people who come on your website are pretty interested in renovating their kitchen. It'd be a smart move to have a free report on the 3 biggest lies that most kitchen renovators tell you. Hint, hint, that is not really a granite bench top, it comes from China. Now, the moment you do something like that, then anyone on your website who's interested in a granite benchtop kitchen or any kitchen renovation is going to download that report, and guess what? You've got their contact details and you'll be able to remarket to them, bang, straight away. They will get the shock of their life when they get a phone call from you, like within the hour, and they go, what? Because they almost, just subliminally give their name and contact details to get the free report. And of course, what you need to do is to consider having testimonials. There is no more powerful form of advertising than referrals or testimonials, and guess what? They're for free. So if you have testimonials, look, written ones are fine, but by the same token, if you really want to put rocket fuel behind your testimonials, try and get video testimonials.
Absolutely.
And John, you would have over time, I'm sure, with the business that you have been, sort of providing advice to businesses over the last X number of years, you'd have a whole host of people raving about the presentations you do at conventions.
That's right. It's, it's a third party that's saying great things about you, and they do it live or in a video or whatever. It's powerful as compared to just reading it, because heck, anybody can write anything and put anybody's name in there behind it. But when you have someone giving you a testimonial that's a real person with real emotions, you can sense their excitement in their product that they got or whatever it is. That's priceless.
It is, and there is no more powerful form of marketing than a referral or testimonial. 2 more things you might want to put on your homepage, and that is the 3 or the 5 biggest benefits that people will get when they, buy your product or service. Don't go even numbers, don't ask me why, but I hang around all the underground ninjas in this online world, and odd numbers work. 3 and 5 biggest benefits works better than 2 or 4, so I say just live with it. And last but not least is a call to action. And that might be that, you contact us at this phone number or click here and send us an email or whatever it may be. And we've got a special offer available till Friday. So you try and put a time sensitive or quantity sensitive offer against that. And so therefore you can see we're leading them down the page to an end result, which is contact us. I do want to show on the screen for you right now a few of the transformations that we've been involved in, so you can see just how dramatic these changes can be. The first one on the screen here is an opal mine adventure that was not doing too well because you'll see their website. I asked the guy who ran this, who was his target audience. He said, well, preferably families, but it's mostly people, seniors, who are coming along, and they're putting the little hard hat on and they go into the opal mine, and they have some pretty poor Disney sort of audio animatronic. When I say poor, it's not like the Pirates of the Caribbean. They'd have a guy with a pick and shovel going, It sounded like the most boring attraction that I've ever heard of, by the way. I've got a bit of claustrophobia, so I would not be going underground in an opal mine. But as it turned out, they had pretty much seniors only. And I said, well, let's zip this up and widen the audience to a family, because a family is 4 or 5 tickets instead of 2. And in fact, the 2 people who used to go into the open mine, being mainly elderly, I think only one ever came out, to be honest with you. So we wanted families so that the whole family would go through and come out the other end. So you'll see what we've done to the website. This is what it now looks like. You'll see on your screen a spectacular before and after. We turned it into an adventure. So it was the Lost Treasure Opal Mine Adventure instead of a walk-in mine, which you called it before. The other one on your screen right now happens to be a water slide business. They provide water slides to people with pools. And you can see there it's not exactly exciting. Have a look now how we changed that website to be a direct response website. And what comes with these particular ingredients that I've given you is a tonality, a look, a feel, an ambience. And you'll see here that I guess you could argue it's been Disney-fied. It really looks like an exciting water slide, business now. And look, I'll just throw up a few others on the screen here, befores and afters, so therefore you can see as we go before and after. And you'll see a few of them that we're just showing you on the screen here. The transformations are quite dramatic. Well, not quite, but very dramatic. And the reason I'm showing you these is because the thing that I guess frustrates me from time to time is that everyone knows a web designer, because everyone has a brother-in-law, sister-in-law, or daughter-in-law who is a web designer. And I just would urge you to consider looking outside the family trust for getting your website designed, because it is an art form in terms of being not only your director of first impressions, but also a juggernaut in terms of sales if you get it right. So therefore, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you go to the right web designer who has a marketing background, not necessarily an artwork background. And now, John, if I could just say, as finishing up, I reckon that if there are any people watching this who are web designers, they will be sending me hate mail.
Probably JD, but you get a lot of that kind of mail from a lot of different people.
That's normally from relatives.
That's true. But the point to make is your website is not a brochure. It's not supposed to just look good and, wow, that looks like a really neat product or service. No, you want them to do something with it. That's why we have websites. If people used to think websites were information. I need to get information, so I'll go on a website and get all that information, right? Because we used to do the yellow pages, remember, in the old days, or used to see ads in the newspaper. So now people are converting to websites, which are great, but it's not a brochure. You want it to do something. You want people to click. You want people to call you up. You want people to get it there. You want to capture their data. You want it to do something.
It's a sales machine, not an info machine.
That's right.
Yep.
And that's the difference that JD does to your website. Is it makes people do something, and that's why we have websites.
Yep.
They'll get information. But I've seen website after website, so much content, so much wording, so much information that I'm just going to pass it by.
Dead right.
But now
Dead right.
you look at those websites, you want to go. I want to take my kids right now
to the
and get
open
on that
mine.
water park.
To the
That's
open
right.
mine, yeah. And so therefore, John is spot on. Try and stay away from being an info, as in information-based website. And I'm not saying not to have information on there. Of course, you've got to do that. You've got to do your storytelling. But make sure it's a sales-focused website, because the thing is that you don't want people just coming and borrowing or stealing or swiping your info. You want them to take action, and that's why it should be not just a website, but a direct response website. So, John, thank you for listening to my ramblings. Okay. It's just, look, it's a pet subject of mine, because I know how important it is for every business, because these days, as I said, your website is your director of first impression. So, given that you're on our program, we wanted to make sure that we put a lot of emphasis on this, because it's really the first port of call for most of your prospects. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you, John, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.